Hi, and welcome to FAM 450. This is Sexuality and the Family System. I just wanted to make a quick video to introduce myself and give you a little overview of how the class is going to work this semester. So here's me, my contact information. The best way to get a hold of me is by email because I do not have an office on campus. I'm actually in Texas, and so I'm not even in the state of Mississippi. So if you email me, I will get back to you within 24 hours, and that's the best way to get a hold of me if you have any questions. Please take note of the spelling of my last name when you're emailing me to make sure that it gets to the right place. So a couple things about online learning just in general. If you've never taken an online class before, it can be pretty different from the normal classroom setting. I did my master's program online, so I definitely understand where you're coming from as an online student. One of the big differences is that there's a lot more student responsibility. So when we're in a face-to-face classroom, I can give you a lot of reminders, and we would take the quizzes and the tests right there in the classroom, things like that. But when you're online, it is your responsibility to remember to log in and to keep up with all of those things that we would normally just be doing in class. So it has a different feel in that you have to be the one, logging in and checking in on the class and keeping up with everything. So it's just a lot more responsibility put on to the students, just the way that online learning is set up. This class does have regular due dates, so you just need to get a copy of that course schedule at the end of the syllabus and make sure you're following it. I would recommend checking in daily. If you can't do daily, then at least a couple times a week to make sure that you're not missing any announcements or anything like that. It's just going to be really important to always be keeping up with what's going on in the class, so checking in regularly is important. If you're having technical difficulties, send me an email and let me know what's going on, but that does not excuse your work being late. So it's important to back up your assignments. If you have a flash drive or something like that you can put them on, or you can even email them to yourself. That way, if something does go wrong with your computer, you have another copy that you can be able to get to. And the other tip would be just not waiting until the last minute, because a technical difficulty can easily be fixed, but it takes some time. And if it's 5 minutes before the deadline, then all of a sudden the technical difficulty becomes a 0 on an assignment because you couldn't get it turned in on time. So give yourself a little bit of leeway when it comes to those due dates and make sure you're not waiting till the very last minute. The other thing would be, if you're having some computer problems, you can ask me and I will try to help, but a lot of times I don't really have as much of the technical knowledge when it comes to things on Blackboard and stuff like that. So you would need to contact the USM online support, help office if that's the case. So sometimes they might be able to help you more than I would be able to. So I mentioned late work. So technical difficulties are not a reason that you could turn in something late. In this class, no late work is accepted. That's just across the board. I do not accept late assignments. The only time that you could turn in a late assignment is if you have an unavoidable emergency, and it's not something like I went to the doctor one time during the whole week of when the assignment was due. This would be something that's completely unexpected, a big major emergency type of thing. If that happens, you can get an approved absence from the Office of Student Affairs. You'll need to document the reason that you're absent, and then they can send me a notification verifying that your documentation came through. So again, if you have some major emergency, I'm definitely understanding that things happen, but in general, for the most part, no late work will be accepted. So please just plan on getting your assignments turned in on time, and don't use the Office of Student Affairs for things that are not an emergency. On tests and quizzes, it's the same type of thing. We cannot open them up again after the deadline has passed. They will close and you will not be able to access them. So it would have to be some kind of major catastrophe going on in order to be able to take a quiz or a test late. So please get on that schedule and make a note of when those dates are. That way you don't accidentally miss a quiz or a test. This is what your textbook looks like. It's Sexuality Now by Carol, and it's the 5th edition. So make sure you get the right one. And if you don't have it already, you need to go ahead and get it as soon as possible because the reading starts right away, and it's really important to have the correct textbook in this class so that you can follow along and be able to do well on your quizzes and your tests. Here's a list of the assignments. We have a grade communications form. That one's not really for a grade. It doesn't count on any points, but you need to just fill it out and turn it back into me. That way you're giving consent for me to discuss your grades with you over email. And there's a syllabus quiz. We have a reflection paper. That's just going to be answering a question about a controversial topic when it comes to sexuality. Then we'll have 5 discussion questions. So there's not a discussion board every week like there is in some other classes. There's just 5 of them throughout the semester. So you just need to look at the schedule and make sure you pay attention to when those dates are that those discussions will be going on, just 5 times during the semester. And then we have a project where you'll be taking an educational approach, sort of a neutral approach, and you'll look at 2 different sides of an issue also regarding human sexuality. Then we have 4 quizzes over the reading and the chapters of the textbook, and then there's a midterm and a final. So as you can see, there's not a whole lot of points available during the semester. So it's really important to get everything turned in, do your best work the first time, and get it turned in on time so that you don't have any missing grades, because it will definitely affect your overall grade for the semester if you start missing out on assignments. There's not a whole lot of points to make up here, and I don't offer any last minute extra credit, any type of thing like that. So whatever your points are throughout the whole semester, that's what it's going to be at the end. So this is Dr. Kimberly. She is a colleague of mine, and she also teaches this class, and sexual health and communication is her expertise. That is what her PhD is in, and so she has been gracious enough to let me borrow some of her video lectures that she made for her online sections of this class. And they have so much good information in them, I wanted to share them with you guys as well. So when you see the video lectures, some of them will be from me and some of them will be for Dr. Kimberly. Either way, you just need to watch all of them, and all of them will have information on the quizzes and the tests and things that you need to know for this class. So thank you to Dr. Kimberly. The last thing I want to talk about is taking an educational approach. So sometimes when we're learning about some of these topics with sexuality, it can be some things that are controversial, things that are kind of polarizing, where you have opposing viewpoints. One person thinks this way is right, someone else thinks this other way is right. In this class, we're definitely not going to be having that kind of bias where it's right versus wrong. It's just going to be studying things and trying to take a pretty neutral approach at just figuring out what things are and how they work, and definitely a more educational, neutral kind of approach. So we'll study something. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. You don't have to agree with it, but you still need to understand the background and things like that. So just keep that in mind as we go through some of these topics. You probably won't agree with everything that you read about or see, but just try to keep an open mind and just take it from the aspect of you're here to learn about those things, even if it's not something that you would do or believe in your personal life. So I am looking forward to having a great class this semester, and I'm always here to help. If you have any questions, just email me, and I will talk to you guys soon.